Hi guys, Angie here from theworkathomelife.com. I'm checking in this week. You guys have left a lot of questions and concerns this week about avoiding scams when you're looking for a work at home job. So I wanted to pop in this week and kind of talk about some of the potential scams that you may run into and also some tips so that you can avoid those altogether and focus your search on legitimate opportunities. So, first thing I wanted to talk to you about is when you're looking for work at home and opportunities to make money from home. I generally categorize things, into three different categories. You're going to find jobs that are going to pay you an hourly wage for the work that you're doing. You may run into business opportunities that are going to be more based on your results or, the work that you're finding for yourself. And then in that third category is going to be those scams that we run into from time to time. And a lot of you that have been on my Facebook page, you're still looking for your first work at home job. You haven't, really experienced this world before, and it's gotten to the point where you're so scared of running into a scam that you really aren't applying to anything at all. So I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about that and when it's okay to pay for something and when it's not okay to pay for something, because you are going to run into some instances when you're looking for a job that they are going to require you to pay a fee. Now, one of these things is a background check. A lot of work at home jobs, especially in the customer service world, do require you to have a background check. And some, in the case of financial institutions, they may require you to have a credit check done. And in a lot of those instances, they want you to pay for that. It's usually about, $15 to $25, and you're only paying for that, if you are reaching that final stage in the application process. So it's not something that as soon as you submit your application, you're paying whether you get hired or not. This is going to be later on down the game. So I want you to keep that in mind if this is something that's coming up right away or if it's something that's coming up down the road. Usually they will let you know right away that, if you are getting to that stage, you do need to be aware that you need to pay for an application background check, but it isn't something that you're going to drop your money into right away. So background checks are one instance where it may be perfectly legit for you to have to pay. Also, your equipment. If you work from home, you are going to have to usually provide your own internet service, your own computer. If you're doing customer service work, you may have to pay for your own headphones. If you're going to be in the transcription, you may have to pay for a foot pedal. So those are some things that you would have to pay for as well that are totally legit. The next category that we get into, though, is going to be business opportunities. And that's kind of where things start getting into that gray area. A lot of you are familiar with direct sales companies, Pampered Chef, Tastefully Simple. Those things require you to pay an upfront fee for your business kit. It's a totally legit opportunity, but it's not a job, as far as a job is concerned, where you're going to be making an hourly wage. That is a business opportunity where you're going to only be paid based on your, personal results. So those pop up, and there are some work at home jobs out there that kind of are right on that line. Arise is one. It's a totally legitimate opportunity, but you have to pay for setting up a business. You have to pay for your own training. You have to pay for ongoing accounting fees and things like that. So while it is, totally legit, it is going to be more on that business opportunity side. You're not going to get an hourly wage in most cases. You're going to be having some performance-based pay. And then we run into things that are total scams. Now, one of the ways you're going to be able to spot a scam is usually because it sounds like you're going to be making a whole lot of money for doing very little work. And that should be your first red flag. Now, if you've fallen for a scam before, you probably have kicked yourself in the pants afterwards because you thought, I knew that this was a scam. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. If somebody is, trying to sell you some training kit because you're going to make, $10,000 a month posting ads online, that is usually a scam. Usually in those cases, what you're paying for is some little training kit that's going to teach you how to post those same ads to try to get more people to sign up for the same thing that you just did. So that's not a legitimate opportunity. As far as how you can research these things, and the research is going to, come down to you. Like I just said, if you find something and, something's telling you that maybe this isn't quite right, it's up to you to do the research. But we live in a, huge internet world where there's going to be a lot of information that's readily available to you with a few clicks. One of the best places you can go is a site called Glassdoor, and this is going to let you see reviews from people that have actually worked for a company. And a lot of the work at home companies are on there. So you will be able to pull up, some information and see what people that have worked there have said. Now, one thing that I want you to keep in mind is that sometimes you have to take those reviews with a grain of salt, because most happy people don't go leave reviews. It's just the people that are upset about something. I'm sure that that's the case if you think back to your own experiences. How often do you really reviews online? A lot of the times it's only when we're upset. So take those reviews with a grain of salt and really read about what they are saying. Is it they didn't like the job because it didn't work out with their schedule? Well, that may be the case, but maybe it works out with your schedule. Maybe they didn't like their supervisor. Well, in most of these work at home companies, there's going to be dozens of supervisors. So the likelihood of you being the same one that they had, you may never know. And maybe it was just a personality conflict. Sometimes one person gets along perfectly fine with someone and the next person doesn't. So keep those things in mind when you're reading reviews. What is that person really saying? Is it, something personal to them, or is it really a big overall problem with the company? The next thing you can do is hit up the Better Business Bureau. They have a website online, and a lot of these companies will be listed on there. So there you will be able to see, are there any real problems with things like non-payment, or, people really having serious issues with something being a scam. You can also hit up blogs like The Work at Home Life, where we talk about some of the legitimate opportunities out there. And I also have a Facebook group that's free called Earning at Home, where you can ask questions about specific companies. A lot of people in there, have worked at home and have worked with specific companies, and they can provide you feedback with what their experience was. Another thing, going back to that, the sniff test there, does this sound like it's real? One thing that I have been seeing a lot of lately, as far as people getting taken for scams, is these places kind of approaching people out of nowhere. These are unsolicited offers. Maybe you didn't apply for a job, but all of a sudden there's this offer in your inbox. Well, in the work at home world, that's really unnecessary. If you've been around here for a while, you know that the competition for these jobs is really high. There's absolutely no reason for these companies to be just sending out, mass emails to people offering them jobs, and where would they have gotten your information in the first place? So if you're all of a sudden getting these offers that you never applied to, that's a red flag. Also, if you maybe applied to something you saw on Craigslist or you saw on Facebook, and all of a sudden this company wants you to do an interview over chat or a messenger, where it's not on the phone, it's not face-to-face, or something like a Skype video. It's just a chat where you're typing to each other in a messenger box. That is a big red flag. There's a lot of those going around right now, and what it ends up to being is some really pushy sales situation where they're trying to get you to pay for something to take that next step to get into a job. So keep an eye out for that. If those things come up, you really want to step back and do your research. And another thing I want you to do is when you're on the website of this company that's trying to, that's offering you a job or has a job listing, look for their business information. Do they list where their company is located? Do they list a telephone number to reach them? Do they list an email address? Do all of these things look legit? Sometimes you'll just land on something that looks like a sales page, and you really have no idea who this company is or where they're located or how you would get in contact with someone. And that's not someone that you want to be giving your personal information to. So keep those things in mind. Like I said, you can get reviews on Glassdoor. You can find reviews by just Googling the company's name and looking for blog posts. Go to the Better Business Bureau. Last week I talked to you in depth about FlexJobs. They list a lot of legit companies on their website for free. You can get access to those without even having to pay for the membership. So keep those things in mind. I have listed a list over here in the description for this video of when it's okay to pay for a job and when it's not. And that post also includes 50 jobs that do not have any fees associated with them at all. So take a few minutes to check that out after the live video is done. Also, in my weekly newsletter on Wednesdays, I send out jobs that I have found online, so you can sign up for that in this link over here as well. And just a reminder, while you're here and you're watching the live video, make sure you are signing up for notifications so you can see the next time that I go live. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to my channel over there. So that is going to be it for me for today. If you have questions, you can always drop me a comment or send me a message here on Facebook, and I will get back to you as soon as I can, and maybe we will talk about your question in the next live video. So that is it for me for today. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I will talk to you next time.